Hello, everybody. This is Tom Eckert here. You're listening to my podcast, Numerology, a GPS for the soul. This is your place to learn about the true power of numerology and how to use it to bring out the best in yourself, understand your loved ones better, take wise decisions, and prepare for your future. In other words, how to live your life aligned with your true destiny. Take your time to educate yourself and share these podcasts with your friends and family so they too can enjoy the great benefits of numerology. Enjoy! Hello and welcome to all my beloved listeners. As always, I'm excited to record yet another episode, and today we are going to explore a very, very interesting question. A pretty fundamental question, I would say, about numerology and whether it really works. And if so, how? But before we plunge right into our topic, if you are new here, then first of all, welcome. And it's important for me to say that in this podcast, we discuss numerology as a path for inner transformation, growth, and self-understanding. So my emphasis is on depth, on wisdom, and making numerology applicable and accessible for everyday life matters so that you and your loved ones can grow and apply this knowledge. Now, a few technical details in case you are new. If you haven't done so yet, you are very welcome to join my Facebook numerology group. The link is found in the podcast's main page. You can also find it on Facebook under the name Numerology GPS for the Soul. If you wish to get a numerology reading, a very, very important and powerful experience, you're welcome to contact me through my website link. If you want to study numerology in a more methodical and self-paced way, please check out my self-study course. And last but not least, if you wish to become a professional numerologist, you can study one-on-one with me. All the info is on my website, and the link is provided in the episode description and the podcast description. And now, without further ado, let us jump right into our topic. So, my friends, is numerology just a hoax? Is it some kind of fancy, something ungrounded, something that isn't really working, some kind of self-convincing method? Where does it even come from? How does it work? Why does our date of birth mean something about our life path? Why does our full name mean something about our, like our soul urge, our aspirations, our our destiny numbers, our expression number? How come anyone even, found out this information, and how can we trust it? I mean, it might just be some kind of hoax or some kind of attempt of charlatanism, as many people think, or, some kind of very, very new agey woo-woo stuff, ungrounded, fitting for the gullible amongst us. So let us dive a little bit deeper. Now, as you probably know, I'm a professional numerologist, which means that I trust numerology. I use numerology for many years. I teach numerology to students from many different countries and cultures. I give readings to people of all ages and all cultures. And it seems to work pretty accurately. As a matter of fact, the acuity that numerology provides is pretty astonishing. So these are the facts in my own experience. Now, let us go one step deeper, because I'm just one person, right? Might be that I'm just, I'm deluded or something. Now, I can tell you that I've read many numerology books, gone through many websites, met other numerologists, some of them, in the field much longer than I am. And in my experience, nobody really knows the actual origins of numerology. right? When you start reading and inquiring into this topic, you will discover that many cultures had numerological knowledge, right? So I'm talking about ancient times when when we didn't have this kind of global connections that we have today, right? We're no internet, no planes, no cars. I'm talking about like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years ago. So we're talking about times where, as a matter of fact, many cultures didn't even know about each other. And yet, right, we had this Pythagorean numerology, we have Chinese numerology, we had different forms of Indian numerology, yogic numerology, we had different forms of numerology connected to Kabbalah and the way that Kabbalists have worked with numbers and letters. We have the Chaldean numerology, and so on, right? So many different forms of numerology in many different cultures. Apparently, people discovered that there is something with numbers and letters pertaining to our makeup, our blueprint, our destiny, our role in this universe, and our role in this specific incarnation. Right, so we can definitely see, the facts that are standing bright and clear in our face, right? Like many different cultures, many different people, unrelated to one another, discover something very, very similar, right? Naturally with slight nuances, but by and large, numbers and letters reveal who we are, what we're meant to do, our potentials, our challenges, forecasting into our future, right? Looking into our past, and so on. It's pretty mind-blowing, pretty astonishing. So these are the facts. Now, how and why, a certain calculation means a certain thing. Like, why on earth does my date of birth, mean something specific and not something else? And who on earth discovered that? Like, how come, right? Like, nobody knows that today. And I'm going to say something pretty revealing and honest. And I always say that to my students, and I'm always transparent about this. I don't have a freaking clue. And I'm saying this as a professional numerologist who gives in-depth readings to people, who gives workshops, who trains professional numerologists. And that's the truth. So I have no freaking clue how on earth this knowledge, a certain calculation, for example, certain letters in my name will reveal my soul urge, which will suddenly reveal my aspirations, my dreams, my deeper intentions, and my goals, or how on earth my full name is revealing what we call the expression number, right? The whole way in which I manifest myself and maneuver this life, and profound skills and capacities that I have, and right, and so on and so forth. Like, why does my month of birth become my first cycle? A certain energy that affects my life for many, many years, almost like a school environment that life, takes me in. Or why does my month of birth added with, summed up with my day of birth, make up for my first pinnacle? I mean, why on earth? Why? So I'm going to be very transparent again and say I have no clue. And I don't know anyone who knows. But, and I think this is like really, really, an important point to say. It works. So the fact that we do not know something doesn't mean it isn't real, and doesn't mean it doesn't work. Fact is, I've given readings to hundreds of people from so many different countries and ages, intelligent people of all sorts, and the level of accuracy that numerology provides is staggering, is astonishing. I mean, there's just no way to argue with it. So the facts are bright and clear. It's a little bit like, we have no clue how the pyramids were built. Yet, just go to Egypt and they are standing tall, erect, and solid as ever before. There's just no way to argue around it. Science has not discovered how the pyramids were built, yet they are there as a fact. And same goes for numerology, right? Numerology works. And, don't take my word for it. Try it for yourself. Get yourself a numerology reading, right? Go ahead and read about your numbers. Go ahead and listen to the podcast and learn about your own 5 core numbers. Calculate them. See if that, relates to your life. If that truly echoes. Don't take my word for it, really. Don't be convinced because I claim to be an authority in the field. That will be just very self-deceiving, just being like a sheep, right? Just be your own authority and autonomy. Learn, study, check it for yourself. And if it works, then be honest. Be willing to admit it works. It works. Don't just, I always like to say there are 2 people in this world. There are skeptics and there are those who are suspicious, right? You can be suspicious or skeptic, and these 2 words are not the same thing. They're not synonymous, right? So a suspicious person is simply driven by a deep, deep sense of mistrust. So they're always you cannot convince a suspicious person because their motivation is not to really discover a truth, but rather to reaffirm their mistrust. As if somebody is there's some kind of hidden lie or something fishy or sketchy behind something. And they're find a way to confirm their own need for mistrust. It's almost like this confirmation bias, this cognitive dissonance. However, the skeptic person might say, listen, I don't know if it works, but I'm willing to try it out. I'm willing to be honest about it. I'm willing to say, I don't know, and I'm willing to try. And if it works, I'm going to be the first one to say it works. And if it doesn't, I'm also going to say it doesn't. Clear and simple. Right? So, as I say, in my experience and in the experience of many other numerologists and many other people who received, numerological readings, numerology simply works. It's a fact. The numbers are so to the point. It's just undoubtable. And I have a full trust about it. So in it. And to me, the fact that it works is already a good proof. I mean, just think about it. There's so many facts, say, or phenomena in this universe that we do not understand. Science hasn't figured out why and how, yet they are. Right? So there's nothing new about this. The fact that there are phenomena that we do not know what exactly they are and how they work does not mean that cancels their reality. It simply means we might need more time to unveil their workings. And to me, the same applies to numerology. Numerology works, but nobody to date, to my best of knowledge, knows the how. Now, having said all of that, I want to just give you my take on the origins of numerology and how it came to be. So since I'm a deep, deep spiritual practitioner and also a spiritual teacher for many years, over 20 years, have been trained by a spiritual teacher in deep meditative and energetic practices on a path to deep enlightenment and awakening, spiritual awakening, having pierced into my own being the subtler energetic and spiritual dimensions and layers of my own being, right? You come to see that there is an access to deeper levels of knowledge. Knowing that, my assumption is that in earlier days, and I'm talking thousands of years ago, amongst some people, perhaps there was an access to the spiritual realm that is far stronger than the access we have today. And as a result, those people, those sages or shamans or saints, right, or mystics, could get a profound insight into the hidden connections, workings, and creation processes of the universe in ways that are not available to us today to the same extent and to the same clarity, right? In that same crystalline and crisp way that perhaps they had in those days. So my take on that is that the ability to tap into universal knowledge and see the connections between sound, letters, energies, matter, right, and all of that, and how all of it is one whole that functions in total harmony, was simply available to those sages, saints, shamans, and seers or mystics back in the day. And we have a kind of gap or some missing links to that. We're not in complete, darkness regarding that, because there are people also today that have deep connections. It's just that we have some missing gaps regarding, this specific method, I would say. Again, to the best of my knowledge. And so I believe that these people manage to see connections between a time a person is born, right, the numbers that are surrounding their time of birth, or the letters that were given as the name, right, to that person, and the way that these choices were not random, the way there were a continuum of a certain underlying wisdom and underlying intelligence that was informing that unique moment, that unique, entrance and decision to partake in the human life, in what we call terrestrial life. And so that's my take. So in those times, right, we could see the connections, and therefore we understood what part of the date of birth, what part of the name corresponds with what qualities, for example. So today we have the methodology, and the methodology works, and that's incredible. And we are absolutely fortunate. So does it really work? Absolutely yes. How? I have no clue, and hopefully over time we will unpack this truth, we will unveil it, and be able to, open the door into that mystery on a deeper level. So, my friends, I hope that this was interesting for you. It's very, very important for me to always be honest and to not compromise quality, to not make statements that are rooted in some kind of wish to just attract people to my podcast or work, in the expense of truthfulness, in the expense of honesty, in the expense of wisdom. I hope that maybe this inspired you to think deeper, or to maybe take a step closer into numerology, to check it for yourself, to check out your numbers, to calculate them, to get a numerology reading, to know your numbers well and see, does this correspond with my life? Does it echo with me? To maybe go even deeper and study numerology and see how the methodology works and how brilliant it is and how accurate it is, right? Because numerology is also a service to yourself and a service to other people around you. So just a little reminder, if you're new here, you are most welcome to join my Facebook numerology group. The link is found in the podcast's main page, and you can also find the group on Facebook under the name Numerology, a GPS for the soul. And if you want to get a numerology reading, as already said earlier, please feel free to contact me through my website link. If you want to study numerology in a self-paced, methodical way, go ahead and check out my self-study course. And if you have the dream or wish to become a professional numerologist, then please consider studying with me one-on-one. You can find all the information on my website The link is provided in the episode description and in the podcast description. My friends, I wish you all the very best, and as always, I will see you in the next episodes. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, and you want to go deeper into numerology, check out my website, tom-eckert.com. You can also book a numerology reading or even study numerology yourself through my courses. I'll see you in the next episode.